conferences. I would like to ask you, what is the level of satisfaction that you have about the dual two-way language program? And how do you know your child is learning in the program? Would you recommend this program to other parents?
We are very satisfied with the program. His level of confidence in both languages has improved since he started. Within the first few weeks that he started coming to school, we saw that improvement in his reading levels in both languages, in his pronunciation of both languages, and we would definitely recommend the program to parents.
Is your child a Spanish dominant or English dominant?
He's English dominant.
English dominant,
yes.
So he's learning Spanish?
Yes. So he
I guess something that I would tell other parents, because we hesitated a lot. We had a lot of questions, and mostly because you don't know what to expect. You read about a lot of different studies, and we just weren't sure that this was the best thing for him, because we always told ourselves, well, he's always going to get Spanish at home, but not in a structured classroom. And we cannot, be thankful enough. We have zero regrets about the program. So if any parent out there is unsure, I would tell them to just take a chance, because we are just so happy. We have seen the growth, his fluency. Every single day we see something different and new at home that he's learning. So thank you.
So you highly recommend the program for other parents?
Yes, it's one of the best gifts or early starts that they could give their children. More than one language.
Wonderful.
Yes, I would really recommend it. For her, she didn't really want to speak Spanish at home, and now she wants to speak Spanish. So she has really learned a lot. Well, she has really learned a lot. Her main language is English. So I've noticed her Spanish is perfect. Well, not perfect, but she has learned a lot. And when she learns like a new word in Spanish, she goes home and she tries to practice it with grandma, and she gets really excited about learning new words.
Being here today, I was so happy whenever my daughter said her numbers 1 through 100. I was a little nervous when she was going to get to the Spanish, because I didn't know what to expect today. But as soon as she started reading them in Spanish, it just blew me away. I was actually so happy and so proud that she actually went all the way to the end. I didn't know how many numbers she was actually going to do, but hearing her actually made me really happy and proud. So my level of satisfaction is, amazing. I'm really, really happy with the program.
Welcome to the 50th Annual National Association for Bilingual Education District Showcase Conference. We are proud that this showcase and conference is being held in Houston, my hometown, a diverse city where more than 145 languages are spoken, along with varied cultural arts, cuisine, and sporting events. As the superintendent of Goose Creek Consolidated Independent School District, a suburb of Houston, serving the Baytown and Highlands area, I appreciate the work our bilingual educators do with our students to help them with language acquisition, as well as with becoming a part of their school and community. For this event, our district has created a video to showcase how Goose Creek chose dual language education as the way to educate our bilingual students. We will focus on our dual language two-way program piloted during the 2019-2020 school year for kindergarten students at 2 of our schools, and now in its second year. In addition, they will also spotlight the student-led conferences in the dual classroom. At the conference, you will also have the opportunity to hear from Dr. Pilar Moreno Recio, our bilingual ESL director, and Wendy Madrid, one of our dual language two-way program teachers. The titles of their presentations are Translanguaging Practices, Cross-Linguistic Connections in a Dual Language Two-Way Classroom, and Translanguaging Practices, Preview, View, Review in a Dual Language Two-Way Classroom. Benefits of the dual language two-way program include high levels of academic achievement and literacy in both Spanish and English, increased cultural sensitivity and empathy, increased confidence and self-esteem, and increased future marketability. The goal of the program is to prepare students to graduate college and career ready, as well as bilingual, biliterate, and bicultural. We hope you enjoy our district video and that you are able to participate in their presentations. Whether you're attending the conference in person or virtually, We are confident that you will benefit from the video our team has put together, as well as the sessions, and hope that you can take back some new strategies to use in your schools and your classrooms. Thank you for attending and for all that you do for our bilingual students. Bienvenidos a Houston.
Welcome to the 2021 National Association for Bilingual and English as a Second Language Education District Showcase. I am Dr. Pilar Moreno Recio, Director of Bilingual ESL Migrant Education in Goose Creek CISD in Baytown, Texas. We are thankful to the NABE Board for allowing our district to have an opportunity to share our work. Our district is located to the east side of the greater Houston area. We serve the Baytown and Highlands communities. Our district serves over 24,000 students. Out of those students, over 2,200 participate in bilingual education and over 1,800 in ESL education. One of our strengths is the great diversity of our community. Our bilingual and ESL population continues to grow every year due to a booming economy. The goal of this video is twofold. On the one hand, we want to share how Goose Creek CISD is moving away from an early exit transitional bilingual program to an enriching dual language, two-way and one-way language program. In addition, we would like to showcase our student-led conferences as best practice in our dual program to help promote student empowerment and parental involvement. You will have the opportunity to hear some key central office players, principals, specialists, teachers, and parents, because it takes a whole village to raise a dual child. We know research is very clear about what best bilingual program models are to promote long-term academic and linguistic achievement when they are implemented effectively and with fidelity. Our district currently has an early exit transitional bilingual program that we are trying to phase out. We knew dual language education was the way to go. In the fall of 2019, once our department got approval to move forward with looking at dual two-way program, with great urgency, our bilingual ESL department galvanized some of the key stakeholders. A committee was put together that included initially central office and school administrators. We took our time to study the research, explore, plan, and visit many districts around the greater Houston area and beyond to reach a decision about the implementation of dual language programming. Without no doubt, the decision was to move straight into a dual language two-way program to provide both English, Spanish, and English speakers in the community with the opportunity to become bilingual. We had 7 months to make it happen. We recruited our first cohort of kinder students in February 2020. We trained teachers. We provided book club sessions for administrators. We met with parents in the community to inform about the program, etc. In 2019 and 20, we started with our kindergarten pilot, a sample of 88 students total at 2 schools, Carver and Harlan Elementary. We worked relentlessly and very hard to put all systems in place, from hiring the right bilingual teachers to writing curriculum to purchasing quality and supplemental resources in both languages, offer professional development to teachers and administrators, and so on. The plan was to phase in a grade level every year to make it happen with quality. Our dual language two-way program instruction integrates content, language, and literacy. The results of the first year of implementation, even when COVID hit us in the spring of 2020, were very positive. Last year, when we did our student-led conferences with parents before our Thanksgiving break in 2019, we discovered that the majority of our kinder dual program students were on the right track of their bilingual trajectories. The majority of the students were reading at or above grade level in both languages, English and Spanish. We knew something great was happening. In addition, the specialized training our teachers received and the strong planning and collaboration that had happened among teachers prior to school and during the school year were part of the key factors of the success. The parent level of satisfaction with the dual program is also very high. For 2 years, we collected surveys from our parents when parents came to the student-led conferences to the schools, and listened to the child sharing their learning in both languages. In 2021, at the beginning of this school year, our department, along with the Human Resources Department, presented in front of the School Board of Trustees the need to expand the dual language two-way program to another school and offer dual language one way to the rest of the 12 schools in the district. We are very excited about this opportunity for our kids and our community. Our district leaders at the very top of the organization cast a vision of teaching and learning, and with their support, open a door of unimaginable possibilities for our emerging bilingual students.
Hi, my name is Susan Jackson. I'm the Deputy Superintendent for Curriculum Instruction here at Goose Creek CISD. I want to discuss a little bit about why dual language two-way program is so important for our community here in the Highlands area and the Baytown area. This is important because our Spanish-speaking students get to maintain their home language of Spanish and learn English at the same time. They spend a day learning all of their instruction in English and the next day learning their instruction in Spanish. As we go through the school, they will start out in kindergarten and then they will keep this program all the way until they graduate, thus becoming a graduate with two languages. This is a great program for our students as they enter the workforce, and our district is committed to providing the professional development and the rigor and the best practices to support these students.
We have now been preparing for the 21-22 school year as all 14 elementary schools are coming on board with the dual language program. We started collaborative approaches in our district as part of the onboarding activities, such as creating a dual committee to prepare other schools, campus visits, peer observations, teachers being able to observe other teachers already implementing and reflecting upon your instruction in our district. We offer book clubs, PLC meetings. This year, in 2020-2021, we continue to be resilient and pushed forward with our dual programming in the midst of a pandemic and unprecedented challenges. Our kinder dual language two-way program cohort from last year moved to first grade, and we recruited new kinder students for the two-way program this year. We also will be phasing in dual one-way language programming next year in 21-22. In Goose Creek CISD, we use a language of the day approach by which our dual program students are immersed in Spanish or English every other day, with a team of 2 highly qualified bilingual teachers. Our curriculum provides space for translanguaging pedagogy. Our teachers implement preview view review and also cross-linguistic connections as a way to promote students with an opportunity to build schema, make sense of content, language, and connections between English and Spanish. We were all in agreement that highly qualified bilingual educators bring strength to the program. They needed to be higher and are key to the success of the dual program models. When you are bilingual or multilingual, you have been in your bilingual students' shoes. You can better understand what kids go through and better plan for that support when they're learning 2 languages. Our bilingual teachers are able to implement translanguaging pedagogy and teach students how to make connections between the 2 languages, English and Spanish, because they are bilingual, or they can strategically switch from English to Spanish to support students. That is right there the superpower of being a bilingual or multilingual educator. Campus instructional leadership is key to the success of our dual language two-way program. Our dual language two-way program principals have played a critical role at ensuring that the right advocacy for the dual program exists and continues at the school level.
Let's hear what our dual language two-way program principals have to say about their role, positives, and considerations of the implementation of the dual language two-way program in their kinder and first grade classrooms for the past 2 years. Welcome, principals. Bienvenidas. Ms. Betty Baca is the principal at Harlem Elementary, and Ms. Angela Glasgow is the principal at Harvard Elementary. The two schools started the Kinder Dual Language Two-Way Program pilot in 2019. This year, the two schools are implementing the program in kinder and first grade. Next year, the program will be phased in second grade. In addition, today we have with us Ms. Leah Abate, the new principal at Alamo Elementary, who will start implementing the Dual Language Two-Way program in kindergarten next year in 2021-2022. So, bienvenidas a todas.
Thank you.
Thank you. Les vamos a hacer unas preguntas. We're going to ask you some questions. So, principals, what have been and what is your current role as a principal regarding the implementation of the Dual Language Two-Way program at your school?
First off, one thing that we did at Harlem was we did classroom observations with you and your team. I think I remember it being some teachers, the Bilingual Specialists, Dr. Wyatt, and so we went to districts in our area that had the dual language program. And so one of the big things we did to begin with was we did the book study with you and our team so that we would all become familiar, because to have a successful implementation, we needed to know what it would look like. So we did a book study. We worked collaboratively with you and your team, as well as all of the specialists that you brought in to train our teachers. I guess my current role, since we're in our second year of implementation, is just to support the teachers in whatever they might need. It is a different way of teaching, and so it has been a little challenging at times, but overall I feel that it's been successful based on the surveys that we've gotten back from parents.
Ms. Angela Mancini, would you like to add anything?
Yes, I think my main role has been just to facilitate whatever the teachers need to play off of what Ms. Baca said. We, whether it be we need more literature or we need more supply, things that mirror both Spanish and English, whatever the teachers feel like they need at this point, I'm just facilitating for them. If they need to go do peer observations or whatever, it's just as I'm in a role of support at this point.
Wonderful. So, Angela, what do you think are some of the key factors that are making the dual language two-way program successful at Carver Elementary, even in the midst of a pandemic?
I think one of the biggest supports that, and in speaking with my teachers as well, is just the support from the district level, and specifically with our bilingual specialists. Because if the teachers have a question or they're not sure how something works, the district is so readily available with resources and bilingual specialists that can come and really assist us with things. So I think having that foundation is key to being successful. The other thing that I think has been really successful is being able to do those peer observations. And then lastly, in the midst of a pandemic, just trying to think outside of the box. So when we do our student-led conferences, how are we able to show off to our parents the learning and things like that when they're not able to come into our school setting? So being able to think outside of the box. How are we going to allow the parents to see the program and how successful it is when we're dealing with a pandemic at the same time? So those are some things that I think have been very successful.
And I know in both the schools you both have to combine the virtual students and also make another group for face-to-face students, right?
Yes. And that I would say with regard to the whole pandemic, it has been really challenging. The kids learn better when they come face-to-face. And so some of the activities that they did in the past, they had to just think outside the box and think of how to do that differently. I will say the support from the bilingual department has been amazing. And I think with the dual language students in particular from Harlem, we have a lot of parent involvement. So they want to know how can we help our children when we don't speak Spanish in the home. So that's been wonderful. I will say one of the key factors in making it successful is to find the right partnership of teachers. The teachers have to just work well together, collaborate, they're ongoing,
like they're
all
married.
day. It's like they're married.
Yes.
And so before school, it might be real quick after school. And so that finding the right partnership is key. Having the right teachers working together helps to make the program successful.
So we have Ms. Abate, the new principal at Alamo Elementary this year, who also will be implementing the dual language two-way program from scratch as a new program in your campus next year. So what has been your role and how are you preparing for it?
The biggest part, I think, is just being an advocate for the program and really understanding why we need to have it in our school. With anything new you bring to your school teachers, there's always barriers or questions. And so being in the trenches, learning with them. I've served on the district level dual language committee. I've done dual language book club with the teachers. I went with the teachers and you to both of y'all's campuses. Thank you for that. And it really helped show the teachers what it actually looks like in practice. So really giving teachers the opportunities to not just learn in a book club or book study or attend parent sessions so they can hear what the parents are hearing, but actually getting to see it in action. So that's been really helpful to kind of get past some of the barriers or fears when changing to a new method. And just want to reiterate again, visiting other campuses. I know y'all got to do it outside of the district, but it's been really good to come, within our own district to campuses where we have similar student populations, and so it does seem applicable to what we're doing at Alamo, and our teachers feel more comfortable. Oh, they can do it over there, we can do it too. And then they have people within the district that they've already asked me if we can come back, and I said after TELPAS we will definitely schedule some more observations because they want to know, what does planning look like, what does this look like, and just to kind of build, the relationship with teachers on different campuses, since they won't have, only they'll have each other on our campus, but teachers with experience with dual. And that's another good point. A lot of preparing for implementation is thinking about having the right people, right partnerships within the right people too, that they're going to take this and run with it and have that growth mindset of these are the things we're going to add because it's what's best for students, and leaving some of our old practices behind. And I think we talked in our debrief about at Carver how there was a lot of students with the early exit model that we were doing. Students kind of abandoned their home language or abandoned Spanish and maybe weren't proud of it. And so that's been a huge piece for some of my teachers, realizing that if we are bicultural, biliterate, bilingual, it's about embracing both cultures. And I think it, excellence spreads, excellence permeates. So, if we have that dual program, it's not just our dual kids that get impacted, but our entire campus. So.
That is wonderful. Thank you. So, do you have, Betty, Ms. Baca, Ms. Mancini, any advice for our new principal here, Ms. Abate?
I believe that the biggest piece of advice that I could give you is just to give grace and compassion specifically for those kinder teachers, because when they come in, you're dealing with the kindergartners who are already, it's their first time on campus, first time in a school. That can be very scary. And then you take children who they are have their home language and they're predominant in that home language. And so even for the English speaking students to go into the Spanish room, or for the Spanish students to go into the English room. So then you're dealing with an added layer of fear from the kids. And so I know for the teachers, just giving them that support and letting them know how we can, how you can support them. One of the things the district did right away for us was to hire an extra tutor to go into those rooms. And so that tutor really was a liaison that could help the kids transition from one day to the next day, depending on what the language was. And we saw huge success with that. The other thing that was very successful in helping with that is the peers that they do. So you would have an English peer, and an English-speaking student, and a Spanish-speaking student together, and that was also very helpful. But just being compassionate to those teachers, because they're going to go through a wave of emotions, and all they want to do is do what's best for kids and to be supportive of those babies that are crying, and they just might not know how the best way to do that in this program because it's new.
And I guess one I'm glad she spoke about the student aspect. I'll talk about the adult aspect. With regard to, you're just going to have to be very flexible. When we work together, if something's not working and we need to tweak the schedule, we checked with Bilad, we had a meeting, we tweaked the schedule. So you're going to think you're going to do one thing, and then you put that in place, and it's not working well. So you got to be flexible and just allow them to work with her and the team, and then keep in mind, even though we're doing the same program, her campus might do things a little differently than my campus. So keeping in mind all that, and I think just flexibility, being able to know, trust your teachers when they have concerns. They might come to you for concerns. There will be lots of celebrations, but I will say not right away. It's tough at first, especially if my thing is, if you've been I was a bilingual teacher when I started my career, and we were early exit, and that's how it was. And so when you go from being in a traditional, just a bilingual early exit to now two-way dual, it's difficult. It's a changing of the mindset, and that can be difficult. I think more so for adults than for anybody, for kids. And so just being able to know, hey, if the plan's not working, why don't we tweak it? Or let's see what they're doing at Carver that's working. Or let's talk to her, just talking to each other and knowing that we're all in the same boat. But I would say one of the most rewarding things is when last year we got to have the conferences with the students and their parents. That was the best, one of the highlights probably of my career, seeing the kids reading in Spanish, saying their alphabet in Spanish to their parents, and that was just a big shining moment. So that was and this year we did get to do it through online, and it's just we did have some come in, some still did virtual, but that was just rewarding. And I remember the parent surveys were just amazing. They raved about the program, and we're excited to have them at our campus.
So since you're talking about student-led conferences, Ms. Barca, tell us a little bit about the process of how the dual student-led conferences work at your school, and what are the benefits that you are seeing by doing so?
Okay. Well, for the student-led conferences, it's one of the most awesome things I've ever seen ever. Last year we had our parents come in, and the students had to have a portfolio that they've been working on all year long. And so the students would do their English, read in English, do their English alphabet, then they would do the same thing in Spanish. And the neatest thing that I saw was a native English speaker, little boy, the mother was trying to understand, and he says, "It's okay, I'm smarter than you, it's okay, I know what I'm doing." And so he would talk in Spanish. And so just to see that is just amazing, because it's just the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And so, like I said, they came in, they had a portfolio, they went through their portfolio, they read in English, they read in Spanish, they showed some of their writing samples, just different things that they've done throughout the year. And it was the kids had practiced with their teacher, because they are 5, so it took them a little bit of practice, so they practiced with their teachers. But and then the parents could ask questions, but it was really a chance for the students to show off all of their knowledge and learning in both languages, and it was just amazing.
Thank you for sharing. Ms. Barca, you want to add something?
I really don't have anything to add. But we did the same thing. Our cafeteria was full of excited parents, and the kids did an awesome job. Everything was organized. They had their binders. They knew what they were going to share with their parents, and so it was just neat to see the amount of parent support. That was probably one of our highest attending family nights. It was exciting. And this year, just with the whole pandemic, that's been a little different. The parents not being able to come to the school and see all the amazing things going on. It's just a little different, but it's been successful, I think.
Teachers were able to adjust though, right?
Yes,
they were. How did the online conferences look like, for in your opinion? How did they go?
Okay, they went really well. I was a little nervous, because you never really know. After we got through the technology issue of everything, making sure everyone was set up, it was a different way of doing it, but it was very interesting. I felt like the foundational pieces were still there, and the parents really got to see. The one thing that I felt like they did miss out on is seeing the other students doing the same thing, which I think is really interesting, because the one thing about the dual language that I've noticed is the community that comes together within that classroom. The parents become a community, the students become a community. And so I think that part was missing this year. However, I think getting to spotlight their individual child and getting to see the progress, I think that we were able to do a good job with that, despite the pandemic and everything that was going on.
I was going to add, we looked at some of your first grade portfolios when we were visiting your classroom, and it is nice to see just the artifacts and having kids be able to say where they are, whether it's in English, Spanish, or any language they're learning. In any subject, just having the kids be able to articulate where they are, this is what I know, this is what I'm working on, is huge for growth mindset for kids too.
Yes.
So we like looking through the portfolios.
Good. So you look forward to doing those next year?
Yes.
Yeah, yes. I want to thank you all for being here today, for being able to share, your testimony about how the dual language two-way program is being implemented in your school, successes, celebrations, advice or Ms. Leah for next year. And I want you to know how much we appreciate all the support. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you.
Our district bilingual specialists have played a key role in the implementation of the dual language two-way program. Our district specialists offer support to all elementary schools according to the feeder pattern the schools are located. The role of the district specialist to our dual language two-way program has been instrumental and key to the success of the dual language two-way program. There are 3 bilingual specialists in Goose Creek CISD, and here they are. They're going to talk about their roles and their supports, the support that they provide to the schools and to the teachers in the dual language program to make it a success. With us today we have Araceli Garcia, Belinda Morales, and Samira Torres. Bienvenidas, especialistas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're blessed to be here.
So we're going to ask you a few questions. The first one is, what has been and is your current role as district bilingual specialist regarding the implementation of the dual language two-way program in Goose Creek CISD?
Okay, our current role, I'm Belinda Morales, our current role has been to become knowledgeable in dual language in general. So we've done a lot of district visits, a lot of campus visits. We observed, we learned, we took notes, and then we brought it back and continued growing our understanding of dual language. Yeah. We also engaged in book clubs. We selected books that were going to help us understand dual language and help teachers. And then we did regional and national trainings to help us, again, understand dual language. And then we also conducted PLCs. We do a lot of coaching, modeling, and mentoring for our teachers.
Yes, and like Belinda, I had the pleasure to also join you, Dr. Moreno, and do the research initially. Araceli Garcia, sorry, I had to introduce myself at the beginning. So we did that, and we went and looked at district areas, looked at their dual programs, which programs they had. So we had what we wanted, but we wanted to go do some research and bring it back. We educated ourselves so we can turn around and educate our teachers. We do curriculum, we do a whole bunch of different things so we can turn around and deliver it to the teachers. Mm-hmm. And currently we also engage in writing our own curriculum so we can get ready for the next year.
Absolutely. I'm Samira Torres. I'm also one of the specialists. And yes, just to piggyback off here on my colleagues, we have definitely done our research. You know, we've been able to do peer observations with our teachers, coaching them and learning as well with them in the process. And that has been an amazing journey to have with our district.
It looks like the teachers are very lucky to have both, all of you, right?
Yes, and we're lucky to have them as well.
We're definitely lucky to have these teachers.
So how does your support look like to teachers in the dual language two-way program? How does it look like?
Well, it starts with a lot of modeling. We go in and we model lessons. We model how a dual language lesson is going to look like for both Spanish and English. We also engage in helping teachers test kids. We help them with collecting writing samples, collecting data, analyzing that data. Right. We also help them group kids with their bilingual pairs, understanding resources, how they implement your English and your Spanish resources. And then we reassure our teachers. We spend a good amount of time reassuring them that they are headed in the right direction. Right. And then definitely curriculum guidance and then lesson plan writing.
Right, and I think, especially when we're lesson planning with teachers, we want to make sure that when we guide them, it's not a direct translation. It's more of a continuation, an extension of what was taught the prior day. And when it comes to resources, we want to make sure that they understand the resources, that we have resources that are available in both English and Spanish, and make sure that we have that quality piece and the equality piece within our program as well. We do gather a lot of data for them as well. We assist in that process and having them do a lot of progress monitoring and guiding them through even like our dual-led conferences and student dual-led conferences and in their daily instruction as well.
And alongside that, we also help them with classroom setup because the environment is critical for them. Because along with the resources, they also need to make sure that the environment is conducive to learning. Mm-hmm. So we help them with setting that up, making sure that it's mirrored from one classroom to the next classroom for the partnerships, making sure that their dual pairs are aligned, that way there's conducive to collaborative learning, that when they have their dual pairs, they can collaborate effectively. So there's equity in both languages, and you have the 50-50 language opportunity, so both languages are developed concurrently.
Right. Because in this program model, we have English speakers, Spanish speakers,
Correct.
native speakers of both languages learning concurrently the two languages, right?
That is correct.
So in your opinion, what does it take to make this program successful instructionally?
Instructionally, we have to definitely have a clear mission and vision. We have to clearly communicate and express the expectations that we want out of the program from the teachers, and then what you expect from us as well as your specialists. We also want to provide teachers with research-based practices that are equitable and are going to be beneficial to our dual program. And then we want to provide classroom support at all levels.
Right. And in doing our research and in our book clubs, we know that there are, like 6 essentials, right, for a dual program to be successful. And one of them is understanding and supporting the goals and benefits from the program, having a clear vision and mission statement, and flexibility and openness to change. Multilingual ecology, which means that we want to make sure that both languages are seen as a resource, and making sure that there's a whole campus support. It's not just, your dual teachers. It's a ownership of the entire campus, of all of your stakeholders. You want to make sure to involve everybody in the process, because everybody has to own it and support it as well. And then also making sure that we have academic and social equity and equal status for both languages. Both languages need to be seen throughout the entire campus, not just in the dual classroom. When parents come in, everything should be displayed in both languages, everywhere, in the cafeteria, in the restrooms, anywhere where we have resources posted. We want to make sure that we are providing the equity piece for the program in order for it to be obviously successful. And then also parent education and support in the process.
Yeah, very important, all of those points.
Yes.
So how are you preparing to support the dual language two-way program implementation next year? Because we're going to be adding one more school that will be implementing the dual language two-way, but also another 12 schools that will join in the dual language one-way program. So how are you preparing, and how are you going to be supporting them?
Okay, we are currently preparing by writing clear-cut curriculum that's going to be easy to understand and easy to implement. We're also going to be, we continue to locate and purchase equitable resources for all campuses, all bilingual teachers, dual one-way teachers. We also want to continue training our teachers with cross-linguistic connections, translanguaging, PBR, and then of course continual modeling, and then look at everything from a cultural lens.
Yes, the language needs to be taught culturally, because when it's been taught culturally, then the students get a deeper understanding of the culture and the value of it, and they get a better understanding of everything. So you create that equity that is so essential, especially in the dual program, and they begin to value that. So that truly starts creating that multicultural student that we want to develop.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're going to talk now, I would like for you to discuss a little bit now about the student-led conferences, and why does the district engage in the student-led conferences process with the dual language, within the dual language program? If you can talk to the people who are watching, how would you explain why do we engage in that process, and what are some of the benefits that you see implementing these student-led conferences in the dual program now?
We engage in student-led conferences because it involves not only the parent and the child, but also the teacher. But the main focus of the student-led conferences is that it empowers our students. It gives them ownership of their learning, and it helps students self-regulate what they are learning and at what pace they are learning. And then metacognition. So it offers all those pieces for our kids. I'm going to let you elaborate a little more.
No, that's okay. Well, students are also able to generate their own goals. When putting in their materials and all their artifacts into their portfolio. So students are able to create their own goals. They own their learning in the process, and it also creates a connection between home and school. And the parents are also able to see how they are able to better support their students at home. And they learn so much about their students in the process, you know, in this fast-paced world that we live in. So it's very crucial. It's very powerful to see how the students take ownership in a conference, in a student-led conference, because we're so used to, you know, having a conference and the teacher sits in front of the parent and the teacher is able to tell the parent what's going on. But when the conversation, you know, the student is the one facilitating the conversation, there's a sense of empowerment and ownership, and the kids are really able to understand what it is that they need to do in order to attain their goals.
And alongside with that, we're creating students that are being accountable for their learning and responsibility, which are two essential skills that any person needs in the world. So we're creating lifelong learners, and we also are creating students that are advocating for their own learning, because when they're creating their goals, they're advocating and telling the teacher, I need you to support me with my reading because I need help with, you know, reading a little bit better, or I need to read a little bit more fluent. So they're advocating for their own learning. And it also takes away the blame from the teacher. It's the teacher's fault that my child is not reading, because now you have the student, my child is the one that is reading to me and my child cannot read, and he said that he was going to do this and my child did not reach it. So now as a parent, I can see that my child had committed to a goal and he or she did not do it. So now there's a different level of conversation, and through a different lens the parent can see that. So I think engaging in a student-led conference is a very good opportunity that as a parent, that we're allowing our parents to engage in and participate. So we're creating not only the opportunity for a student to engage in an academic setting, but also for a lifelong learner in a real-world setting.
And my favorite part of it, as we help teachers with this and we guide kids with the student-led conferences, is their excitement. Their excitement of, this is sitting with their parent and explaining to their parent, this is what I know, listen to me. So sometimes that doesn't necessarily happen at home, and this is the opportunity for the parent, whether they be virtual or in person, to listen to their kids and listen to the beauty of their excitement. So that was my favorite part of it. And then when the parents themselves listen to their kids and they're excited, because, you know, we would assume that they're tracking this, but sometimes it's difficult with the times that we're in right now. So I love that excitement part, the excitement part of the child expressing what they know, and then the parent being emotional about, my child is speaking in 2 languages, my child is telling me what they're learning.
They're able to see, right?
They're able to see it.
And a lot of the times they're like, I didn't realize my kid could do all that.
Yes.
You know, because like I said, it's such a fast-paced world a lot of the times, you know, sometimes we don't have the time, you know, to sit down and really have a conversation. So having the student and the parent have that conversation, or guardian, I think it's such an emotional time for them, and they're really able to see how they can further support their student.
So it provides a platform for learning, right? For that
Yes. I mean, it was amazing watching parents take out their cell phones and record their kids. Like, I did not know my child could do this, and recording their children, and like, I'm gonna send this to the family. You know, so that's exciting. That was really exciting.
So what has been your involvement during the process of student-led conferences, and how have you had to adjust to COVID, to the pandemic? How the conferences now have been able to be, you know, transformed, you know, so that you as a district, you know, or as a district can continue to support this process?
Well, due to COVID, of course, we're always sanitizing. So when we sat with the students and did virtual, we did several kids
Yes, we did.
virtually. And so we got on laptops and engaged the parents and the child and had them speak, introduced ourselves, who we were, and how we were involved in the process of their child's education. So virtually was fine. At first we saw it as a challenge, but once we, you know, overcame that and the parents were just as excited as the ones that we had face to face, it worked out well for us. So I would say virtually and face to face was fine.
So still we didn't stop the process, right? You were
Right.
able to adjust even though the pandemic was with us. So let's talk about your involvement as a specialist. How do you support the teachers in getting ready, in educating them to implement this process? How does that work for you? What do you do?
So what we've done in the past, and also this year, even with COVID, we've helped facilitate, like the student-led conferences. We've greeted the parents, and we've met with teachers and their tutors as well, in order to train them, walk them through, the artifacts and the portfolio, and generating some of their quality work and work that students are very proud of to show, to their parents, because they're the ones that are going to be facilitating and guiding the parent through the conference. So we've also helped in contacting the parents, generating their materials, making sure that the teachers had everything they needed, created schedules for them, even in the virtual setting, because at the beginning we were like, oh my God, are we going to do this? It's virtual, this is crazy. But we made it work. So what a lot of our phenomenal teachers did was they scheduled a specific time, and it was all the virtual kids, because we're hybrid. So there's some kids that are in school and some that were virtually. So we put them on. All the kids actually had their portfolios. Some of them either came and picked them up from the campus, so that they could show their parents. Some of them had an electronic version of it, and the kids, they created a whole little portfolio online, and the kids were so proud they were able to show their parents. And then we would ask them to unmute themselves, because we could see the excitement and we could see the engagement with their parents as well as they were doing it virtually. So we would ask them to mute, and then some to unmute so we can listen to that. And we were also there to to provide any clarifications to any questions that the parents may have had, or to obviously guide them through the process as well.
So as we put binders together, and the pages that we're going to go into the binder are what the students were going to be expressing what they've learned, we took all that based off of our state standards, our TEKS. So we looked at kinder TEKS, we looked at first grade TEKS, and we said, okay, what is it that we want them to learn from here to the end? And then we selected what we wanted in there. So of course we can continue growing that and adding or removing. So that was one thing that we also helped facilitate, putting together the binders.
And the portfolio was in both languages. It wasn't just a showcase of what they could do only in one language. It was them, showing their artifacts in both languages. So the parents were able to see that. And once again, creating all that equitable piece, the parents, they become very involved in it. So they're able to see how, oh my God, this is amazing. I didn't even know this. And then we have a lot of multicultural resources as well. So students are immersed in multiculturalism, and they create such an amazing family within everything that they do in the classroom as well. So the parents are also able to see that through their student-led conferences.
Another thing that we were able to do through the student-led conferences is some of our struggling learners. We were able to clarify for parents and provide suggestions as far as what they could do to help their child progress a little more. So parents felt more comfortable asking that question. Okay, so he didn't really count his numbers to as far as I wanted him to, how can I help with that? So that was really great, listening to parents ask questions, because they wanted their children to not only grow in one language, but 2 languages. So they were paying attention to both languages, not just the primary language, but both languages.
Yeah.
All right, ladies, I want to thank you for, being able to share, all the great things that you are doing to support your teachers in the dual language two-way program, and also how you, your involvement in the student-led conferences. Goose Creek CISD is lucky to have you. Thank you.
Well, we're lucky to be here.
We're lucky to be here, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So our teachers are key to the success of the dual language two-way program. The classroom is the space where all dreams, planning, and support we have worked for gets implemented and visualized. Our teachers have been working really hard and collaborating to make the dual language two-way program a success for the past 2 years. With us today are our new first grade dual language program teachers, Nicole Rivera and Maria Celestes Paredes. Thank you very much. Bienvenidas.
Gracias.
Okay, so we have some questions for you so that you can share with our viewers today. So you are teachers who have experience working and teaching in 2 different program models. The early exit transitional program model, and now the dual language two-way program model. So what is your experience teaching in the dual language two-way program, and how does it compare with the early exit transitional bilingual program?
It was eye-opening. I had studied and prepared for dual language in college. That's all I ever knew.
So when I got offered the job and they said there's a possibility that you're going to be doing dual, I said yes. I was very excited. So my first year I did early transitional. And I was happy, I was excited, but I knew right away that's not what I believed in. I believed in the students maintaining their language and not just getting ready to learn the other one and then just set Spanish aside. Now that I'm teaching dual this year, I'm very excited because I get to see how the students become bicultural and bilingual. I get to see them add to their value rather than take away from them. And it also makes them aware of other cultures, other ethnicities, and it's very exciting to see them bond and respect each other.
What are your thoughts, Nicole?
So, as Ms. Paredes was saying, it's my first year in dual language, and it has been amazing to see how students develop the second language, respect each other's language, cultures, and appreciate each other depending on their differences. And also, it's very interesting to see how they develop their bilingualism, biculturalism, and bilateralism.
Excellent. So what are some key factors that in your experience are needed to make the dual language two-way program a success? Because you're two successful teachers, brand new teachers, first year in the program, and you're having a lot of success. How are you making it happen?
I would say most importantly communication with your partner. Ms. Rivera and I, we're constantly communicating. Like today, we had to switch some things around, and when it happened, our rooms are side to side, I went and I was like, hey, I'm gonna have to do this, is it okay? And then of course she's very positive. She was like, yes, don't worry about it, we'll fix it tomorrow. So constant communication with each other.
And also the CLIF framework, which is based on content, language, literacy, integrated framework of biliteracy, which is basically integrating in your instruction content, language, and literacy. Language can be with simple sentence stems in anchor chart, PowerPoint, or when you're presenting something to a student. Literacy can be with a book or shared writing, and all of that can be integrated doing a balanced instruction.
Yes, so an example would be we're learning about rivers. So we would read something, that would be the literacy part, and then we would have sentence stems so that kids can practice their language, not just, oh, Ms. Rivera said that. No, they practice it, they use the sentence stems, they communicate with their bilingual peers, which is what we have. We have kittens and puppies. So our kittens are English monolinguals, and then our puppies are Spanish speakers. So in my classroom, on the English one, the kittens help the puppies, and then in Ms. Rivera's classroom, the puppies help the kittens. And it's a lot of communication, which helps a lot when they're learning vocabulary because they're using it, they're just not hearing it.
And the sentence stems will help them not only in writing, but also like their oracy when it comes to communicating with other students.
So what is the best advice you can offer teachers who will be starting the dual program next year here in Goose Creek CISD, the one-way or the two-way? What is your best advice you can provide?
I would start with researching the program that you're going to be working on, whether it's two-way or one-way, informing yourself, best practices. I know we do a lot of meetings, we talk to experts about it, so I would say that's one of the main things. Know what you're doing so that when you go into the classroom, you have an idea of how it's supposed to work. And also keep an open mind. You're going to be learning something every day. And sometimes you'll plan and it'll sound great in your head. But then you execute it and you're like, oh, this did not work. So keep an open mind. Remember that they're kids. Yes, become flexible. Remember that they're kids and they're learning and some things don't work for them. Even if they work for you, it doesn't work for them.
Yes.
So just be very positive about it and remember that we love our job. This is why we do what we do. We want to help them keep two languages,
exactly. So one advice I could give them was, like Ms. Paredes said, build a very healthy and positive relationship with your partner, since it's someone you need to be communicating daily, every single day, after school, between during school. Also plan strategically, including TPR and different strategies that we learned with Dr. Mercuri, and making sure you plan based on the dynamic of your class. If you see that something don't work, you need to start integrating new strategies to keep them eager and engaged during learning the second language.
So we're going to talk about the student-led conferences now. Why do you and your students engage in the student-led conferences process? Tell us a little bit what it is and why do you engage in that process?
So Ms. Rivera and I spoke about it, and we said that it holds the students accountable. It's not only, oh, I'm showing my mom my work. No, it's holding them accountable. This is what I'm supposed to learn. This is what I've learned, and this is where I want to be at the end. So the student-led conferences is basically involves a parent, the teacher, and the student. And there's a binder, and that binder holds the TEKS that we've been learning so far, and the students get to present it to the parents, and the students are the ones who are saying, I've learned this is where I want to be, or I struggle a little bit with this, but I'm working on it by doing this, this, and that. So it holds them accountable because they're telling their parents, like, Mom, I'm going to get to this goal. So they have to now do it because they said it to the parents in front of their teacher, even our principal, and even yourself, Dr. Moreno. And they become autonomous. You know what I mean? Like, they're the ones sitting there and they're telling them everything, and it's amazing to see them express themselves and say, well, I'm reading at a level G, and at the end of the year I want to read at a level K, Mom. And it's okay, we're going to get there. You said this, it's right here in their binder. We're going to work towards that goal.
And parents, everyone asked, like, okay, what can we do to help them get to this level? So they were also like participating and interacting more with the students. And also, it adds students empowerment since it makes them accountable for their own learning and want to learn more in order to get to that goal at the end of the year. And it makes them more aware of their goals and their success.
Wonderful. Lots of benefits, right? That
Yes.
So how do you and your students prepare for those? What is the process that you put in place to make sure the students were successful, the day of the conference?
So it was something new for Ms. Rivera and I, and some of the parents. So we had virtual kits and face-to-face kits. Virtual kits, we had to create a virtual portfolio for them, and then face-to-face, we had the physical copy of it. So we explained to the kids what it was, and they had a little bit of experience from last year when they had done it in kinder. So most of them remembered, but even then, they had been out for almost a year. So we had to kind of re-go over it, explain to them, and we showed them the binders. And once they had the binders in front, we went over, this is what we learned in math. Can you tell me what it is? Can you explain to me what you learned? They said yes. We would fill in the details. Reading, the same way. We would go, this is my level, and I want to be in this level now. And then writing. We had writing samples in English and in Spanish. And we said, okay, well, let's analyze your reading sample. Oh, well, I'm not really using my periods. Okay, well, let's set that as a goal for the end of the year when we compare your sample from now and then. Let's see if you're growing. That's going to be your goal. So once we had binders ready, we put them again with the bilingual pairs, and we had partner A explain it to partner B. And then we had partner B explain it to partner A so that they could practice and be more confident with it when their parents came.
And they'll help each other at the same time. The Spanish speaker helping the English speaker in the Spanish part. And yes, it was very, very useful.
So what have you heard from parents? What is the parent feedback regarding the student-led conferences? What do they have to say about those?
Parents were very eager to listen to their students, to their kids, just talking in the second language. And a lot of them were very impressed to listen to their reading, their writing. So we heard a lot of positive things from parents, and they're very happy with this program.
And they're really excited because some of them, they're monolinguals. They either speak only English or they either speak only Spanish. So when they come and see their child that they're exceeding in both languages, it excites them because they're like, I'm an adult and I only know one language. Imagine my child who's a 6-year-old knowing both languages, reading to me in English and Spanish, doing math in English and Spanish, being able to write in both languages. It's very, very excited, and they're very eager.
Yes.
They're constantly asking us, what do we do next? How can I help him? Is there any other books I can read? Is there videos I can show him? And we're like, okay, it takes time. It's a process, but we're very happy with the engagement we have from parents. That's one thing about dual language. They're very involved, and we're very thankful for that.
So it must look like we're empowering the students, but also the parents, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I agree.
Very good. Ladies, we're developing bilingual, biliterate, bicultural students, would you say, in your classroom?
Yes.
Yes, yes, we are, right? You are. Thank you so much for everything that you do. And we are lucky to have you in our program. Goose Creek is happy. It's very, lucky to have you. And we're very happy to have you here.
Thank you so much.
With us today, we have Miss Marin, our first grade dual language program teacher. Ms. Wendy Madrid, kindergarten Spanish component teacher in the dual program, and Ms. Yvette Nunez, kindergarten English component dual language program teacher. Bienvenidas.
Gracias.
Welcome. So you are teachers who have experience teaching in two different program models now. An early exit transitional bilingual program and now a dual language two-way model, right?
Yes.
So what is your experience teaching in the dual language two-way program, and how does it compare with the early exit transitional bilingual program?
The difference that I saw between the two programs was that the goal of a dual language program is the biliteracy, and that the students get offered an opportunity to maintain and develop oral and written skills in language 1 and language 2.
Like I want to piggyback off of that. I feel like the dual language program is able to harness the primary language and, actually value it instead of taking one language away to develop another, So I really enjoy the dual language program.
Yes, the two-way dual program is an additive program. In the early exit, it's a subtractive program. Because in the two-way dual, we add in another language. The students are adding another language. And in the early exit, the kids they're losing in language because they have to leave behind their first language, in this case Spanish, to transition to the English. And like I noticed when I was teaching third grade, that my kids they didn't know enough Spanish, and when they were in pre-K, because I had the same kids in pre-K, they knew a lot of Spanish. Their first language was Spanish, and the class was in Spanish. And when I had them again in third grade, I noticed that they didn't know any more Spanish. They loved the Spanish, and it was sad because, it's a bilingual program. We should be creating bilingual kids. And no, they're losing a language, so that's why I prefer the two-way dual.
Yes. So you notice your students are becoming bilingual, biliterate, bicultural. So when you started the kinder dual program last year, Wendy, and what were your students reading at the end of the year in both languages, for example, in the dual two-way?
The same level, the same reading level, 6 or level 6, or if the kids were reading a level 8 in English, it was reading a level 8 in Spanish.
They were more than prepared for first grade. They were more than ready for first grade in both languages.
Yes, this program creates, like you said, biliterate, bilingual, and bicultural students.
So let's go to the second question. What are some of the key factors that in your experience are needed to make the dual language two-way program a success?
I think a good partnership with your teacher, a good team building within the whole grade levels, because I feel like you can go ahead and give feedback to the new teachers and make it better for them to have an understanding and build a good concept and a good rapport with one another to say what are the strengths and the weaknesses of the teaching style that's coming in and how to help the program out.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like Nunez said, a good communication and relationship with your partner, that's crucial in the two-way dual program, because you have to plan together. You're gonna have to talk to each other every day to discuss the lesson and what was covered and what you didn't cover. And another thing that I think is crucial is to have two equal group of students, like have English language learners and have Spanish language learners, because we need the bilingual pairs, and the kids they get support and help from each other. So I think that having a two equal number of group of students that helps.
And also another key factor that I find really important is having a clear idea of translanguaging strategies. I believe that it's important for the teachers and the students to practice using both language in problem solving and when acquiring new knowledge in each language.
Excellent, ladies. So what is the best advice you can provide to teachers who will be starting to teach in the dual language two-way program? Because you know we're going to add another school next year. Alamo Elementary will be part of our dual two-way language program, right? But also we have 12 more schools that are going to be joining us with dual one-way. What is your advice on, for the teachers joining this journey?
Well, this is my second year in this program, and I think that one of my advices that I can give is to put everything in the lesson plan, and especially the translanguage practices, which are the PBR and the cross-linguistic connections, because those are very important in this program and any bilingual program. But you might forget a little piece when you're teaching, so you have everything in your lesson plan and good communication too with your partner.
When you say PBR, what do you mean?
Oh, it's preview, view, review. This is when you, like if I teach Spanish, in my case is Spanish, I preview the lesson in English, and then I teach the focus of the lesson is going to be in Spanish, and then I close it, which is the review in English. That's the preview, view, review, PBR.
Yes, and piggybacking off of that, making sure that you're organized and have those components ready and available, patience, and very good organization and preparation.
And advice I can give is be patient. Like at the beginning of the year, I felt like I wasn't implementing the translanguaging strategies really well, but now I feel like with all the experience that I've had, I feel like I'm mastering them.
So it takes time, right?
It takes time.
It's a process, right?
Yes.
And when you were a first-year teacher,
Yes.
and now the second year,
Yeah.
it gets better, would you say?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit.
You need to start slow. Like start with one subject and do the preview review in one subject and then keep adding to the other subjects. So start slow, because then it's gonna be a lot of stress and you're gonna feel bad because it's not coming up like it was planned. It takes time, but yeah, the second year, this year was a lot easier. It's like it's okay now.
And having the bilingual department supporting us has helped me a lot.
Tell us about that support. I know you're a specialist, have been in the classroom.
Yes,
Has been that support?
Belinda has been reaching out to us like monthly, checking on how we are, modeling lessons for guided reading, and how to do. Dr. Mercury and Dr. Pratt, they have helped us a lot by modeling how to do preview, review, and view. In guided reading, and it actually has helped us a lot because we actually see someone doing it live instead of just reading it from a book.
Yeah, having the support from administration is very helpful.
Yes, it is. Having those supplies ready and available.
And the same resources in both languages too.
Very nice. Yeah.
That's good to have both resources in both languages.
Why are the resources important?
Because we following the same lesson. And like in the same day, we're teaching the same thing, but she's doing it in English, she's my partner, and I'm doing it in Spanish. So we need to have the same resources.
Yes. So it's equitable, right? Access to both resources.
Accessible, having them ready, available, especially with the new curriculum. It has the links already available for actual preview, and it has the YouTube with Epic, or just any kind of different resource that we need. It's ready, available, even anchor charts. So it's perfect.
Wonderful. So we're going to go ahead and I would like for you to talk a little bit about the student-led conferences. I know you engage yourself and the students in the process of student-led conferences. Tell us a little bit, what are those and why do you engage in that process?
The way we engage is because we have to, the teachers, we have to work with the students in order to prepare them and to help them see their strengths where they are now, and they're going and coming up with some goals. So it's a collaboration between the students and the teacher to create the whole conference presentation. And it helps them develop great confidence in themselves. They take their own responsibility of their learning. They know where they are, and where they have to be by the end of the year.
So they're setting their own goals for learning.
Yes, they set their own goals.
Mm-hmm. So how do you and your students prepare for those? What does it happen? How do you get them ready for those conferences?
The preparation begins like a month or 2 months before the conference, and it starts by helping the students understand the purpose of the conference and the parts of the binder, which is the presentation where they present to their family. And then we organize all the components of the binder, like all the artifacts. They put their artifacts, which is the book, the reading level at the reading level, and the writing sample. And then we set up goals, and then together we come up with goals. And then we role play. We role play like a week before the conference. We role play. Okay, I'm gonna be the parent. First, I'm gonna be the student, so they see how I'm presenting, and then the student, his role play as the parent, and then we change roles.
Mm-hmm. And like Madrid said, like I enjoy doing the role play because I had the students pair up with their bilingual pair, and one was a parent and one was a student, and they enjoyed like switching the places.
That's great. I pull my student small group first just to introduce the binder as well, and we go over the different components. But most of it is everyday things that we do as a routine, so it seems that they're very familiar with it. And just building that goal, like the way you say, building goals, and they're aware of the achievements that they've made. Yeah. And it's good to know weaknesses as well, so that way they can build to where they need to be.
Yeah, it takes time. The prep takes time, especially but it's worth it. It is worth it, especially when you hear the students explaining to their parents what they know and their goals. It is worth it.
The expression in their parents' face is what made me really happy.
And this year you have to adjust. You did some face-to-face. Other conferences were done virtually because, of course, the pandemic. So tell us a little bit about the virtual process. What did you do? How did they get the folders? How did you set that up?
Well, for the virtual process, the kids had their binder, and it was a meeting through WebEx. The parent was on the other side of the camera, and it was the teacher and the student, and the student was guiding the parents through the meeting. And I was just kind of making sure that the parents were understanding what the kid was saying. If they had a question, I was just guiding them. The binder that was set up actually guided them through it, the script.
Yeah, in our case, we sent the binders home, and the parent and the kid wasn't. They were at home, and then we were in our classroom, and we were. And the kid leading the conference, and then the kid, he was presenting to the parent, the students, and it was almost like the same, like in face to face.
So it takes three people, right? The student, the parent, and the teacher, right? Yes. And that feedback that the child is receiving.
Yes.
So what is the parent feedback to the conferences? What do you hear parents saying about that process?
Parents were ecstatic. Just about all the learning that child had learned in a different language, and primary language too, but just having them speak a different language, it was wonderful. Parents were, I can't even give you an actual, I can't say it in words because of the expression in their face. They were very, very happy.
I had a parent, and he had like tears in his eyes. He was so excited, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know that she could read like that well in Spanish," and all excited, and it was wow.
Mm-hmm. Especially like the parents who don't speak a second language at home, it was like something that they never seen their son do, so they were really excited. Their expression said everything.
That's wonderful. Ladies, you're doing really good work, right? You feel like you're doing really good work with your students. You're developing bilingual, and it takes a village, right? It's administrators, it's teachers, it's parents, it's a team effort, right? So, anything you would like to add? Anything else you would like to add?
Just glad that we have this program in Goose Creek. This is the best program.
It's a good program. Seeing the kids learn two languages at the same time.
Yes, I'm excited just to be a part of the dual language program and be a part of this team and be able to explore the different sections of how we are all learning together as a whole.
Mm-hmm. We learn from each other.
Yes.
That's wonderful. Thank you, ladies, so much for your time and for sharing your expertise about the dual language program and the student-led conferences. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The student-led conferences is a process that our department started in 2016 as part of my research study. During the educational process, I found that we usually train and provide teachers, administrators, and parents lots of information about what to do, how to support students, and so on. The key player here, the student, most of the time may be unaware of what is required of him or her to succeed both linguistically and academically. In small groups, I visited with over 300 students at the middle schools. The goal was to empower them so that they could know their language and academic data. Students set goals for academic content and language growth and came up with ideas and a plan to follow up and meet those goals. The outcome of this process for all 5 middle schools where the process was highly implemented resulted in the language learners making the most progress both in their Texas English Language Proficiency Assessment System, TELPAS, composite scores, and also in the state of Texas Assessment of Academic Readiness, STAR scores. We shared the results with all the principals. As a result, more schools started implementing this process. A student-led conference is a meeting with a student, his, her family, and teacher during which the student shares his or her portfolio of work and discusses progress with family members. The student facilitates the meeting from start to end. Student-led conference is a meeting with a student of his or her family and teachers during which the student shares his or her portfolio of work and discusses progress with family members. The student facilitates the meeting from start to finish. Student-led conferences can be implemented at all grade levels, pre-K through 12. Preparation for a conference creates an authentic purpose for good organizational and communication skills. The structure builds students' sense of responsibility and accountability for their own learning, and it helps to hone their understanding of what it means to meet learning targets. Student-led conferences are now taking place in the dual program as well. We piloted them in Kinder Dual last year, and this year we continue with the conferences in first grade. We use this process twice a year, at middle of the year and end of the year, as a way to promote parental involvement, student ownership of learning in both languages, and as a way to showcase where the students are regarding their bilingual trajectories, regarding some grade level skills, language development, etc. Teachers and students prepare a binder with the students' goals for reading, writing, and math. The binder contains student work on the skills they are working on during the year, reading, writing, math, phonics, etc. On the day of the conference, the student shares the goals, work, and other artifacts with the parents in 2 languages. This year, our dual teachers hosted conferences face-to-face, but also made adjustments to meet the needs of the students receiving virtual instruction at home by providing online student-led conferences from the school to home. Despite this pandemic year, our parents were able to join our face-to-face students and lead the conference at the school. Our teachers were also able to adjust and provide student-led conferences virtually. After the parents finished the conference with their dual child, with the dual program child, the dual language program students were very satisfied. The parents were also very satisfied after those conferences were finished. I want to thank everyone who participated in this video, our central office administrators, teachers, parents, students, and our communications department. I hope you have enjoyed the video we put together. We're excited about our journey with dual language education and the opportunity to empower our Goose Creek CISD students to own their learning so that they can become bilingual, bicultural, and biliterate. Gracias y hasta pronto. 2, 3, go.
Welcome. Thank you for coming. Bienvenidos. Gracias por venir. We are going to talk about, vamos a hablar de reading, lectura, writing, escritura, mathematics, matemáticas.
¿Qué dice ahí?
Reading y lectura. Yo sé leer libros en español en el nivel H. Mi meta es leer libros en español en el nivel K al final del año. El sol se asoma por la entrada del hormiguero, otro bello día, pero para la hormiguita Sarita hoy es otro largo día de trabajo. Marchan las hormiguitas en fila, la fila se hace más y más larga. La hormiguita Sarita, cansada, se une a la fila. I know how to read books in English at levels I. Introduction. Snakes are amazing hunters. They have many different ways to catch, kill, and eat their food. They are able to grab their food very quickly. At the end of the year, my goal is to read at a level K in English.
Good job. Keep going.
Escritura, writing. Mi nivel de escritura en español es avanzado. Mi meta de escritura en español es avanzado superior. My level of writing in English is advanced. My goal for writing in English is advanced high.
Wow.
Este es un ejemplo de mi escritura en español y en inglés. This is an example of my writing in Spanish and in English. Yo observo que hay un gato negro y hay una luna llena y la luna está brillante y hay árboles y es de noche.
Good job.
Yo llamé el gato Black Ball.
Black Ball? Black Ball. Good job. I like it.
The fluffy cat is sleepy. The sleepy cat is super sleepy. The sleepy cat is raising its paws. I named it Lily. Because it looks like Lily.
I like the color, brown.
Thanks, Mom.
And la nose is pink.
Ahora, eso es matemáticas, math, números and numbers. Yo sé cómo comparar números en español hasta el 30. I know how to compare numbers in English up to 30. 20 es menor que 30, 20 is less than 30. 18 es mayor que 10, 18 is 18 is greater than 10. 30 es igual a 30. 30 is equal to 30.
Good job, mija.
Mi meta es comparar números en español hasta 120 al final del año. My goal is to compare numbers in English up to 120 by the end of the year.
Wow, you can do it. I know you can do it.
Matemáticas, resolución de problemas. Math, solving problems. Yo sé sumar y restar en español. I know how to add and subtract in English. 9 más 5 igual a 14. 9 plus 5 equals 14. 10 más 5 igual a 15. 10 plus 5 equals 15. 7 más 4 igual a 11. 7 plus 4 equals 11. 6 más 4 igual a 10. 6 plus 4 igual a 10 y it's a friend of 10.
Is it?
Porque it makes 10.
It is.
6 más 5 igual a 11. 6 plus 5 equals 11. 8 plus 2 equals 10. 8 más 2 igual a 10, otra vez un friend of 10. 9 menos 5 igual a 4. 9 minus 5 equals 10. 7 minus 4
Say it
equals
again,
3.
this one.
9 minus 5 equals 4. 9 menos 5 igual a 4. 7 menos 4 igual a 3. 7 minus 5 equals 3.
7 minus 7.
7 minus 4 equals 3.
Thank you.
10 minus 5 equals 5. 10 menos 5 igual a 5. 6 menos 4 igual a 2.
Good job. Good job, mija.
Gracias por venir y escuchar. ¿Tienen alguna pregunta? Thank you for coming and listening. Do you have any questions?
Great job, mija. Good job. You did great. Thank you very much.
Do you have any questions for her?
You're doing such a great job, Eliana. And I know you're going to do much better at the end of the year, okay? Keep going. Así como lo estás haciendo muy bien. Vas excelente.
Good morning, parents. We're here now after the student-led conferences, and I would like to ask you, any of you, how do you think your child is doing in the dual program? ¿Cómo va el progreso de su hijo? Anybody?
Good morning. I think she's doing really, really well. She's excelling in both languages. This program is an astonishing program. I recommend it to any parent who would love for their child to learn both languages.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. What about anybody else?
Yes, I felt like my daughter has excelled a lot. She came from knowing zero Spanish to reading a whole entire binder, and I do recommend this program. And thank you all for allowing the kids to be able to learn 2 different languages.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Sí, buenos días. Estoy muy emocionado que mi hija está aprendiendo muy rápido el inglés. Ella no sabía absolutamente nada y es un buen programa.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yo también le quiero dar gracias a las maestras porque le han ayudado mucho a mi hijo y él ahorita se puede comunicar y me puede entender en los 2 lenguajes.
Wonderful. So are we creating bicultural, biliterate, students at Carver Elementary here in Goose Creek CISD? Yes? Okay. Thank you so much for coming today. Muchísimas gracias por venir hoy a las conferencias lideradas por los estudiantes. Que tengan un buen día. Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you.